Hi, Dunia. How are you?
Hi, it's so lovely to have you on, Kiran. Welcome to the PLA podcast. What a treat to have you.
Yeah, same here. Pleasure. And I'm happy that you invited me for this. And not to say like this is my first podcast, so pretty excited. And I'm thankful that I'm talking with you, who's quite well versed in this. And I appreciate you and the PLA family and the PLA leaders who have been helping and motivating so many people like me who won't get into such kind of, I would say, adventure unless being pushed into the water. So thank you. Yeah.
Such a treat. And Kiran, you've worked so hard to get to this level and you continue to work on yourself so much. So it's such a privilege to be able to interview you today. And I'm so excited to hear more about your story and to get to share with our audience that some of them may know you and some of them have never gotten to know you and more of your story. So very exciting.
Yeah. Let's open the can of worms.
Let's do it. Before we jump into questions, though, I wanted to formally introduce our incredible guest, Kiran Setty. He has been a technical program manager and leader focused on scalable enterprise and cloud solutions. He has been born and raised in Bengaluru in India, starting his career as a software engineer, then moved into project and program management for the last 14 plus years. He moved to the US in 2010 and completed his master's in 2015 and postgraduate program in 2024. He's now based in Salina, Texas, with his wife, son, and daughter, and with 20 plus years in IT, leading secure, scalable, and reliable enterprise applications. He's known for building high performance teams and collaborating with partners to remove roadblocks and deliver results. From Charles Schwab, he manages an app with over 2 million plus users with 100 million plus in revenue and 200 billion in assets. Onboarded clients adding 5 billion in new assets and grew teams the size from 18 to 54. With Frontier Communications, he's led projects generating 10 million in revenue and saving 3 million annually. Implemented key data governance and security measures. Kiran loves team building, collaboration, and solving complex problems together. Please welcome this incredible guest that we are interviewing today on the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dinia. That was a sweet, and I really appreciate briefing on me. And for people, especially who don't know me, so I think that comprises everything. Thank you.
Oh, such a pleasure. And it's amazing to, I love that part of the podcast, even though it's the very beginning and it's the formal, opening. It allows you to, in some ways, take a look back at everything you've created and worked on in the last years, which is amazing and such an accomplishment, truly.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for those words.
I wanted to ask you my first juicy PLA podcast question, which is one of my favorite ones because I always get so many insights from our guests. What is one piece of advice you wish you knew at the very beginning of your career, knowing everything that you know now?
Okay. So, like, I would like to extend it a little bit because I've been learning a lot. So, it's been an epoch in between this 20 years thing. So, first, let me cover from the beginning. So, what I would say, I would say, talk to myself when I started my career. Like, I would say, focus on networking, and which is something I felt like it makes really immense impact. And you do better. You'll be challenged by seeing how people around working around you, and I think that gives you a way of like how people are improving themselves, how the world is changing. So I believe that's something that which I didn't do in a very good extent. So I think networking is something that I would focus more, and I would. I would say like slap on me and say, yes, do it. So that's really good. That helps your career. Is just not limiting yourself to your work and your family. You have more to learn and contribute to. And networking is a good place where you could do all these things. And other thing, like what I have observed in myself, like have a tendency to get into comfort zones. So I would say never do that again. And like not just being creating comfort zone because you'll be content with what your present is. You'll never aspire or try to hit things beyond. You will constraint. You're just like a frog in a well, like just thinking this is my world and I'm good with what I have. So I would say don't create comfort zones. So come out of, challenge yourself, and like that's in the personal manner. With respect to technology wise, I would say like don't stick on to things like one thing. Like as I said, comfort zone. If you're comfort with one technology, don't stick to it.
Mm,
And another habit I would have suggested myself would be keep taking interviews because that's how you will know like what's the expectation. I believe sometimes within an organization you're just, they say like every organization has a constraint, right? Like you'll be just caught within that constraint. You won't think beyond that.
mm,
What the thing is a constraint for you could be an opportunity for another organization. You'll have to see it in a different way. So I would just say like come out of the comfort zone, keep challenging yourself, explore things. And not to
mm.
mention, which I said, the networking. Be good and at least in the future keep doing it.
Oh, I love this. Yeah, I think you brought up so many good points. And I love that piece because so oftentimes, especially in highly technical fields like tech, we oftentimes we overly focus on our skills and forget about this incredible network and opportunities around us by
Mhm.
building those relationships that end up making us far more resourceful, seeing opportunities, being more creative in our work and projects and um, and solution finding or creating. And I love that piece around, comfort zone. It's so simple, yet every human being makes this mistake continuously. We're handed these amazing solutions and opportunities that are just outside our comfort zone. And yet the pull is always to say, this is what I know, this is what I'm good at. Let me stick to that rather than taking risk and possibly making a mistake or making a fool of myself or falling short in any way. But there's so much that we learn when we're growing outside that comfort zone. So I really love that you shared these points. So powerful.
Yeah. And things get so monotonous, you'll forget what is innovation. So you'll say like, okay, let me do this, and your life becomes a process. So
So
yeah,
true.
so that's what I have observed in myself too. So which I wish I could have changed long back. Yeah,
Yeah, keeping things interesting through diversity.
yeah, Should. Yeah.
So good. And this brings me to my second question that is, for you, what were the biggest challenges of your career? What did you find were like, what, I really had to work hard on this. This was my challenge and this is what I had to really grow through.
Yeah, I mean, I think my career started with the challenge. Like, I started my career, I came out of college in 2000, which was the dot com bust. So, yeah, so had to struggle a lot initially. As you said earlier about myself, I came from engineering, which is basically manufacturing. So I was nowhere near to computer coding or anything. So these things are all I had to learn. And given the market challenges then, I think it was pretty bit tough initially. I almost had to work for 18 months without pay, but the opportunity of learning was great. So I took up those opportunity. So, but I don't regret on that, like switching to technology, manufacturing science. Like the 10 years were amazing. It was not just because I was learning things. I would say in those 10 years, I gone through at least 5 domains, including retail, finance, loyalty. I mean, everything had its own good things that you could learn and implement, and even technology. I mean, trust me, like there are times where I've switched 4 projects in a year, but it had within the same company though. I was in an organization that was doing more on POCs, so it's a center of excellence. So you get to try on so many tools. So I don't know, like I might have tried at least 100 tools, including application servers, web servers, and all. So it was great, but only thing when I look back and I see is like, yeah, I tried everything, but I was jack of all. I was not a master of anything that I could say. Like people could look at me and say, "Hey, you are been in this industry for so long. You can." They could see me as an expertise. That was a challenge, which I think, as I earlier said, I was in that comfort zone. I should have come out. I should have challenged myself.
Mm,
So I think though there were disadvantages, but I really got a good growth, good learning in those 10 years. So I'm really happy with the initial start that I had, and no regrets.
mm,
The only thing, if I see myself challenged, or if I want to correct one thing, if I have to go back, is
mm,
what I did in 2010 when I initially said I moved from a pure technical guy into people or a project management. So, I mean, my intention was like having both technical and managing skills would really help in the career growth, and also you'll have a command on things that you are doing. So, if you're managing things that you have already worked on, I felt like you'll be better than others in that. So, I thought that's a power, and I switched from pure technical to a project management. So, going back to your first question, when you said like what you will tell yourself at the beginning of your career, that's what I said. Is I have another opportunity where I would go back, like in 2010, which is 14 years back. But I said, like, yeah, it's a switch, it's a risk, but
mm,
should have. I mean, stayed aligned to the technology, knowing what's the trends. But since I made a new switch to project management, I had to learn so many things and all. And the challenges of being a project manager and a scrum master are on its own. You need to keep
mm,
learning new tools, collaborating. I think, though rather than technology, I had an opportunity there where I could meet so many people, interact with quite a lot of people. As a technical guy, I might have been confined within to my team, or been additionally to a dependent team. But
mm.
as a project manager or as a people person, you have to interact with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So 10 years back, in 2010, when I moved to project management without any experience, that was a challenge for me. And to add to that, that was the time I moved to US. So there was a cultural difference in the sense like how you work back in India or in US. I felt it's totally different. Here you focus more on your work as a project manager, or be stay aligned to technical. There, I felt it was more like an administrative or just taking care of the finances. But here, I jumped into project manager role without any prior knowledge. I
Mm,
just cleared my PMP then, and I said, okay, I can do it. So when I was thrown into the challenges, that's where I got to know, like, okay, PMP is really a book, theoretical knowledge, but life has more challenges. The projects are not as defined in PMP. You have to do a lot of things to succeed in that. So that was an initial challenge for me when I switched that role. Other than that, I think again in 2015 I had another challenge wherein just to maintain my immigration status, I had to move as a student and do my MS.
yeah.
So there were three things that happened then. Like I was doing my MS, I was doing a job, and that's the year my son was also born. So there's a lot of things. So I think I had to put almost like 16 hours, 18 hours a day just to manage all these things. But I think in the challenges you learn a lot. I think I became more efficient in using my time during that time. So I would say it was a challenge, but an opportunity. So it's been a learning. When I go back, that's a reference I keep myself. Okay, you can do it. You can put efforts. You can push yourself and get things. So those challenges, I would reference them as an opportunity or my conscious to say like you can do it. So those were the few things, and other things like when I take to work, I had project challenges too, but I would call them as opportunities. Like one of the work that I was working on was an Oracle migration work, uh, which almost impacted one third of the organization, and so the challenge was managing the stakeholders. So you have different kind of stakeholders. So as I earlier said, like I got the opportunity to speak to various kind of people in the project management. So I think that challenge was helpful for me to understand like what each customer or a stakeholder looks at and how they perceive it. Like some things that are challenging or something minor work for me could be a major for those players. So one thing I learned one was how to understand stakeholders and tune yourself. I mean, create reports or whatever to the to what they seek. Like if I can't give a finance information for a marketing or an engineering guy, it's of no use for them. So catering that helped me a lot. And lately in charge shop, like had an opportunity to implement a project that was bringing in almost like 5 billion in assets to the organization. So project, the main challenge here is like it's not a technical challenge or anything. It's there are quite high stakes. Like 5 billion is not a small amount for any organization. So there are a lot of things that you need to keep a tab. And to the best part was it went smooth without any issues,
Mm,
and even the end customers was happy with that. So
yeah.
it was not just helping the company to build asset. It also we also gained the initial trust with the business that yeah you can rely on us if there are anything that you need we can always build it. So I would say like challenges, but a lot of learning. So I
Yeah.
would say that has helped me to shape better. In this. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiran, your story, there's so many moments I was listening to you and I start to realize there's a very, very common theme through these shares around challenges, which every time a challenge showed up, it was for your greater good. You learned skills, you learned
Mhm.
resilience, but more importantly than anything, you learned adaptability,
Yeah.
which I'm sure served you in this last project where there were major stakes to this project. Had something gone wrong, it could have gone terribly wrong. But because of all of these experiences that you've had in the past where you've had to face all of these situations, a change, putting yourself aside, really focusing on the task, on the results, what had to get done, working on these different projects, having to continuously change tools or skill sets allows you to now work with these major projects and say,
Mhm.
wait a minute, no matter what comes up, it's going to run smooth because I have all the tools necessary from my experience.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, as I said, challenges, the synonym is opportunity. That's how I see. Yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of challenges leading to opportunities, let's talk about AI. So many people
Mhm.
are torn with how to see AI. So many people are seeing these major opportunities, but are also seeing challenges with it. I would love to get your take and perspective on it.
Yeah. So I said like uh, going back to my first question, I said like what things that you want me to change is learning things. So as part of this AI, I mean, I was never exposed into these things, the AI or the machine learning. The opportunity I got was on 2023, where I joined a post graduation with Maccombs, University of Austin, where I took a PG course for post graduation in machine learning and AI for leaders. So this helped me in cover two things. One, don't stick on to what you have. Learn, keep learning new things. And the way I got into this course, I learned. I mean, the opportunity I found that I should be learning is like looking into interviews. Like that helped me to see what the market is looking for. So I'm just reiterating that to say like these corrections help me to find out what's happening in the market and take corrective measures there. So this course helped me like to understand why we are using AIML, what goes in the backend, what needs to. I mean, everyone knows it. Like the knowledge was there. Like people knew what AI is, but they could only do it once they had the compute power. So sometimes you know things, but you don't have an opportunity to implement them. Yeah. But the best part I learned about is like what people don't talk about is like how AI results could impact people. Like we talk AI accuracy, variance, all this stuff, but these things matter and impact various domains in a different way. Like just for instance, take a false negative or a false positive. I mean, if it is a health industry, it makes a major impact. So, like consider a COVID scenario itself. Like you just say you're positive, but you're not positive. That's a major impact. Rather than in a banking, when you find out like, okay, this was not an proper transaction, there was a malicious thing. Even if it's a false positive, it's okay. You can say, okay, we tried to identify something, so the impact is less. So other thing that I learned over there was like having proper guardrails and how to see like nowadays we have been hearing like 90% of the AI project implementation are not to the expectation. So why do they fail? Like maybe they implement it, but they don't look into whether it is meeting the expectation. They don't look into the non-deterministic impact to say like how the difference in output could impact your customers.
Mm.
Like just take the other incident that happened in Australia. That I don't want to mention the name, wherein they were fined to giving a AI generated report. So these are the things that I believe we should focus first. Technology next.
Yes.
When I look at AI, I look at it in two different aspects. One is how it could currently impact you. In my own team, I've seen like I could use AI and I still can improve the life of my team.
Mm.
Like I can use them for automation. I can use it for documentation. I can look it for review. So this is one aspect. I can still help. Yeah, AI can still help with your current application and for your current team. You don't need a new software out to be created, which is AI related to solve your problems. It could solve many of the existing problems you have with your application. So one aspect is that. Second is adapting or introducing new technology
Mm.
or all these things. So when it is AI, I think the companies should focus on what they are like, why they want to get into this.
Okay.
They should first have the business cases, whether they would yield the right results for them or not. Check their infrastructure. Like if you're going to create an LLM, it's not your domain. So you should know what is your constraint to it before going adapting to AI. So think about your infrastructure and
Mm.
then think about the tools and decide upon what tools infrastructure you need and then how you could implement those scenarios or use cases that will give best results to that.
Yeah.
So like for instance, I was going through one demo of an application wherein they created an AI application wherein non-technical guys like they want to get access to the database, but they don't know SQL queries. But they created an interface wherein you could type in and say, find an employee who has bought these products in this time.
Mm.
So it'll convert your query and show the output. So that was a project with one of the stakeholders that talked with them, and it took months on that. And I had an opportunity to attend another hackathon actually, and
Huh?
they built that application in just 2 days. So see
Well,
the impact. Like the same work which took months, a lot of resources, we were able to do it in 2 days, and that too with a great UI also. And that UI took hours, not days, to create that. So the impact is huge. So in my view, you should know like what kind of tools you want. Like in current our organization, they're just still looking into what kind of tools should be
mm.
exposed.
Yeah.
I think they're making a conscious judgment there because just buying tools and if they're not matching your purpose, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, and what I've heard from other leaders in AI is like they'll say, okay, let me create an LLM, let me create a model. I believe people should first judge, or the company should first judge, like, is it their niche skill or
Mm.
does it make purpose for them? I
Yeah.
mean, if you are a service based company, it doesn't make sense because you need to satisfy your customers. That's your main idea. Not building an LLM will not
Mm.
bring in any advantage or benefit for your customers or your shareholders. So
Absolutely.
focus on that, and based on that, take
Mm.
action. So in a summary, I would just say like first look into current application, how it can help. and then also look into projects or use cases and how you could leverage your company's strengths to implement them and make a difference in your organization.
Yes. I love that piece you brought, like getting very, very clear on the intention behind the use, the infrastructure of the business, the parameters. And not only that, you brought up such a key element, which was the effect of the results on the customers or users that a lot of us are not thinking. We're overlooking, really, is the word I was looking for. And that piece is so essential because oftentimes we're thinking, oh, it's going to smoothen out the process, it's going to simplify things. And
Mhm.
oftentimes it's like, okay, and if that doesn't land in the proper way, or we don't actually get the results that are helpful to the customer or client in the end, it may do more damage than good. So getting very clear on the intentions and the far reaching results and the impact of those results on those involved is some things that we should be asking ourselves a little bit more that we haven't yet been with
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah, I think it'll have its own learning curve. Like people are just jumping in to just say, yes, we are AI powered applications. So I think rather than having that tagline, I think we should focus on what benefit it would get to your shareholders or your stakeholders.
Absolutely. And Kiran, before I ask my favorite question of the PLA podcast, I'm going to ask you another one. We are on the PLA podcast, and you have spent so much time, energy, and effort really investing in yourself and making sure that you are growing your personal and professional skills at a level that you've never had before. What has been the most surprising um, asset that you've gotten from PLA and from that journey with PLA, really?
I mean, I would say like the best understanding or the knowledge I got was from the Thursday sessions where people are sharing their work. I'm really happy to see like people have achieved like so many things in here. Uh, like they are telling they want professional growth, but they
Wow.
have already achieved a lot. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm quite left behind compared to them, but it really inspires to see like people have achieved so many things. They had those technical challenges, like yeah, it's new thing, but they have done quite a lot. So, and the best part is they are sharing it, and like they're not just sharing their gains, they're also sharing their drawbacks, what challenges. And I think you won't learn this by I mean, like they're sharing it in a such a way that you don't. I'm feeling that I already implement. I was part of that team, so it's both wins as well as the challenges they had. And I think I've learned so many things from that rather than taking up a course and learning from that. And not to mention regarding gratitude. So I mean, I'm also a person who doesn't thank people much, but I've started learning thanking people, and makes a lot of difference. And I see like the way they respond to you back also is different when you acknowledge their presence and their impact in you. So acknowledging, that's I think that's the greatest habit I've started on. So I think I thank my team, and not to mention my wife more. Uh, uh, I think that helps a lot. There's a lot of friction that used to happen with my, my wife has reduced, I would say. Acknowledging things, I think it's not doing a favor. You're doing a favor on yourself because you'll start appreciating people. You'll know their value. You value when you value people. I think they value back. So it's just not appreciating them; it's appreciating self too.
Amazing, Kiran. And I love that piece. Actually, no one has mentioned it in all the times I've asked this question. That piece around the Thursday sessions, which are the community led sessions, because you're right. There is so much value
Mhm.
that we can get from the community members just being amongst each other and learning from one another. And it's an extremely generous community. PLA members have given their heart and soul and have really opened up their books, their knowledge, their deepest experience, and their really really rich expertise for the rest of us to be able to learn from them. And that's true. It's so nice that you've highlighted this. It's something that hasn't been mentioned on the PLA podcast before, and of course the power of gratitude. And this really touches on that piece with PLA, that PLA will make you a better person all around. And this will take you to new growths in your career, but also will smoothen things out in every facet of your life if you're really willing to implement like you have.
Yeah. As I said, I've already seen the difference, both
Oh,
with my team and within my family. And I believe that also impacts your kids, because when they see you acknowledging someone, they automatically learn with it. I mean, if I ask my son, go say thanks to someone, he would say, why? So if they see your parents doing that, I think they learn from that better than asking them to do it. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. And this brings me to my favorite question of the PLA podcast. What is the legacy and impact you are still looking forward to leaving behind in this world?
Uh, I would still say there are unfinished dreams that I had to achieve in career wise. I need to be like see myself in a leader position, committed and contributed both to the team as well as the organization. And there's a personal goal. I want to be my best, healthier version too. And in future, like I would like people to remember me in a good terms, not that. And I believe this journey would help me to motivate my kids to
Mm,
learn things. Like I'm learning at this age, and as I said, like I in 2024 I did my PG. So one of the things that I want to show my kids is like learning has no end date. So I want them to keep learning rather than saying, okay, I've learned this or something. There's never end to learning. And I think, as people say, like doing it is better than telling someone to do it. So,
absolutely.
so I think that's what I believe this journey with PLA and changes in myself would help me to accomplish. And I think I'm going a bit ahead to say, like my retirement, I want to end up like peacefully doing some farming or gardening. So I'm a person who will be content with whatever I have. So I'm just looking forward, like at least I be a role model for my kids, if not for others. So I want to aspire them, make them good citizens and humble people.
Yeah, I think there's something powerful in what you've said, and it's like really understood by reading between the lines of your share. Is that piece of like success and growth is great, but it's far more powerful if we do so knowing that we're having influence and impact on all those that are around us, whether they are our kids watching us, whether they are our communities or the teams we're leading at work. And really, our growth is actually not just for us, it's actually for everything that we are leaving behind in this world, whether it's impact, inspiration, a proof of concept, a proof that it is possible, that our dreams are achievable, really, and to encourage people through stepping into that ourselves and embodying that ourselves is so key and absolutely essential. So, Kiran, I really wanted to thank you for your time and for jumping into the PLA podcast with me today. I did, if anyone is curious about PLA and have never heard of PLA, and they just want to find out when the next free training is, I'm going to put this QR code right on the screen.
Mhm.
This, even if you never hear of PLA again, and I say this very honestly, and you just attend this free training, you will be blown away by the skills, tools, and results you will get even in just the few days that are offered. It has been
Mhm.
an incredible, enriching community. It's been so generous. So if anyone is curious, feel free to scan this QR code, and you'll be able to see the entire you'll see the link to the next training. And
Mhm.
so many of us have been so many times over again and have attended multiple times and gotten so much value. So I'm just opening that up in case someone is curious.
Yeah, I've already scanned it and sure I'm gonna share it with my team members at
You're
least, because I
welcome.
want them to grow along with me. And what could be a best way than showing them what has helped me?
Oh, you're amazing, Kiran. Seriously. And thank you so much for being on as our guest today. I'm sure we'll have you on once again to the PLA podcast. And thank you to everyone who's been listening. Looking forward to catching you all for another episode of the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunya.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.